What's up, guys? My name's Stu, and today we are talking about Star Trek Infinite, who just announced their release date, and it's actually a bit sooner than I was expecting it to be. Star Trek Infinite was announced back in June, and one thing a lot of people started noticing after screenshots of this game were starting to drop was that the game looks quite a lot like Stellaris. You know, the UI very Stellaris, like even the a lot of the icons are pretty much the same. The gameplay looks pretty similar. You got, massive sectors of different solar systems that have different planets in it. You're going to be managing resources, population. You're going to be moving fleets all around. But the difference here is that it's a Star Trek game. So it really seems like that the game is just a Star Trek game that is a Star Trek skin that is on top of the Stellaris engine, which is pretty evident because not only because it's a Star Trek game, but also the publisher of the game is Paradox Interactive, who are the developer of Stellaris. So it's clearly like, I'm guessing like Paramount was like, hey, want to make us a Star Trek game? And Paradox was like, hey, we got this game that could work with Star Trek. And they just kind of retooled Stellaris for Star Trek. Stellaris' own modding community alone has already done a great deal to show how well Stellaris works for the Star Trek IP. So yeah, it makes sense that Paramount would want to capitalize on that a bit. And honestly, I am all here for it. I am a huge Stellaris fan, and obviously I'm a huge Star Trek fan as well. So, a new product combining the two, obviously I am going to be interested in that. Now, they just recently announced the release date for Star Trek Infinite, and that is going to be on October 12th of this year, which kind of surprised me a little bit because that's like a month away. Like, I didn't think this was going to be a super long development period because they're basically just kind of retooling Stellaris into a Star Trek game, which, so, they're not building a game from the ground up. This is kind of retooling an existing product. But at the same time, I was expecting like December minimum, but nope, coming out in a month. Now, with the news about the release date, they've also announced some extras that are going to be included in the game if you do some things. For one, there is going to be a deluxe edition, so that's going to include things like the original soundtrack, a digital art book, and some extra music DLC. Like, if you're familiar with Stellaris, they've basically got their own soundtrack at this point, so yeah, it makes sense that Star Trek Infinite would kind of lean into that direction as well with its own original music, so now you can get some extra music as well. But along with that, you can also get the Cerritos of all ships, which, wasn't expecting that, but I'm so here for it. Love the lower deck representation. You can also get the California class uniform and a voiceover pack that is Klingon themed, presumably for the Klingon faction. Now, I will point out that this is a little misleading because while these are all listed under the Deluxe Edition, which these will be available with the Deluxe Edition, but the pre-purchase bonuses are actually half of that. So if you want to save yourself $10, you can just get the Cerritos, the California uniforms, and the Klingon voiceover pack as long as you purchase the game before October 12th. Now, with this game, I imagine there's going to be some debate around the question of why should I buy Star Trek Infinite when I can just get Stellaris and download the Star Trek New Horizon mod? And frankly, that is a very valid question because, the New Horizon mod has been around for quite a bit longer than this has. This isn't even out yet, whereas New Horizon's been out in development for years now. There's been, they've got several different features. Like, for one, New Horizon, spans a much larger span of time, whereas you literally start in the Enterprise era and work your way up to like post TNG. I'm not sure how far it goes at this point. I haven't played the whole thing in a while, but whereas Star Trek Infinite is going to be very much focused on the TNG era. But at the same time, Star Trek Infinite is an officially licensed release, so just looking at it, the UI is a bit more polished. I imagine the game is going to be a bit more stable because, no offense to the New Horizon team, but New Horizons really isn't the most stable sometimes, and the load times on it can be quite lengthy, though part of that is just, Stellaris on its own too. And really, I think this is just going to be like a different take on the same idea that Horizons is trying to do. It's just a Star Trek version of a Stellaris game. And, our New Horizons did it their way. And now, who is this? Nimble Giant Entertainment, they're going to be doing it their own way under the guidance of Paradox as their publisher. Another thing is that you kind of have to look at this from the perspective of a new player as well, because I'm sure some of you haven't even played Stellaris yet, maybe even been kind of interested in it, or just for the sake of the New Horizons mod, or just for the game itself. I mean, I for one have been a huge fan of Stellaris, but I know, yeah, I mean, I imagine the 4X grand strategy games, they're not for everyone, but maybe you're interested in this because it is a Star Trek game. Well, Star Trek Infinite is going to be $30 USD at launch, $40 for the deluxe edition. But if you look at Stellaris, I mean, Stellaris is still $40 just for the base game. And one of the big things about Stellaris that I imagine really turns off a lot of new players is the massive backlog of DLC that Stellaris has. You know, so you kind of feel like you probably feel like you're purchasing an incomplete game. So you don't want to buy the base version, you want to get the whole thing, but getting all the DLC just feels like a huge task just to catch up to the modern state of the game. Whereas Infinite, they don't really have that problem yet, because really the only DLC is what's included with the digital deluxe version, or the pre-purchase bonuses if you get that instead. Another thing to consider is that, well, yeah, people have been modding Stellaris like crazy, but the fact that people have been modding Stellaris like crazy over the years is that this will probably have mod support too. So, you know, this is already going to be a more refined Star Trek experience. So imagine what modders are going to be able to do once they get their hands on it. They're going to be able to further refine that in their own way. And if you're someone who doesn't care about mods, frankly, this is still a Paradox game. There's probably going to be more DLC for this game in the future because, like I said, it's Paradox. They love their DLC. So it wouldn't surprise me if we get more DLC that adds, you know, more ships, more missions, more little story packs, more features into the game, much like Stellaris has over the years. I know some people are probably seeing this as just like a cash grab targeted at the Star Trek community. It's like, oh, hey, you made a game? Okay, now you're just re-releasing the same game with a Star Trek skin on it. But honestly, I don't see this as a bad thing because, again, I like Star Trek, I like Stellaris. Combining the two, that doesn't seem like a loss to me. That just seems fun, and that's something I want to try out. And plus, it's not like they're releasing this as like a brand new $60 game. It's $30. Frankly, that's not bad in my opinion. So yeah, Star Trek Infinite is going to be releasing on October 12th on Steam, and yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm definitely going to be pre-purchasing it, and large part of the reason I'm going to be pre-purchasing it is so I can get access to the Cerritos, because come on, man, it's the Cerritos! You all know I can't help myself with the lower deck stuff. Why do you think I own this? Come on! Now, I was planning to do an unboxing video for this thing, but I never got around to it. I've been so busy and distracted and tired. Anyway, let me know what you guys think of Star Trek Infinite down below. Are you impressed by it? Are you curious by it? Do you plan to buy it? Or are you going to pass on it and stick to New Horizons? Or do you have no idea what this is because you don't even know what Stellaris is? Let me know down below. While you're down there, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. If you'd like to further support the channel, you can hit that join button to become a member, or you can hit the super thanks button, or you can find the link to the merch store in the video's description. If you're ever shopping on the Epic Game Store, be sure to use my content creator code STU1701. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does help me out, and I do appreciate that. That is content creator code STU1701. Either way, thank you so much for watching. My name's Stu, and I will see you guys next time.